Today we are going to be doing part 2 of What If Deku was depressed / had a quirk. Let's get straight to this video. We last left off where it was Izuku's last day of middle school. He can control 5% of One for All. He could go up to 10% if he really pushes himself to his limits. He could summon his sword. He's a master at swordsmanship. He's a master at kickboxing, taijutsu, dojutsu, ATA, all that other stuff. And also Izuku does not, well, he does know Bakugo. He just hasn't seen him in forever. Sorry, I just had to get something to drink before we start this. Anyway, let's continue. As one day, Izuku's sitting alone, and as the teacher said, "Well, good morning, everyone. Today we are going to be, well, since it's the last day in middle school, you will have to fill out a form of where you want to go for high school." And as the teacher passed out the sheet of paper and everybody wrote. So let's time skip to about lunch. Izuku wrote down for UA since that's where his dad is, aka Shota Aizawa. So Aizawa is. So as he was eating alone until this girl named Kendo Itsuka came to sit on his table. And as Izuku looked at her with an annoyed face, and then as he said, "What do you want, Kendo?" "Oh, nothing, Izuku. I just wanted to sit with you. How's your week been going?" Alright, I guess. "So, can I come over your house today?" "No, I told you this for whenever for when I first came here, well, for when we first started to get to know each other. No, you can't come over my house. Or for that matter, come on my block." "Why?" "Because I don't want to be with you in a proximity for 100 feet. So can you please get back a little bit?" "Nope." Fine. As Izuku continued to eat. "So, can I come over your house today?" "You know what? Fine. Fine, you could come over my house. Just so you can stop asking me." Oh, this is gonna be such a pain. As the end of middle school officially started, and as Izuku was just nonchalant about it, didn't really care. As he was walking out of the school, and Kendo having her arms wrapped around his, and as they got to Izuku's house, as he walked in to his house because he had a key, Aizawa was there because he was taking, because he was not retiring. He was taking time off, as people would say, taking a vacation, which he does that almost constantly every day. So as Aizawa saw the situation that Izuku was in with his classmate, and Izuku has told Aizawa about this, and he started to get flashbacks with him and Miss Joke, because Miss Joke is kind of like the same way as you could see in season 4 when, let's not get into that. But as Aizawa looked at Izuku and said, "You're on your own, don't ask me for help," and went back to sleep. As Izuku looked at Aizawa with pain in his eyes and just said, "Come on, I'll show you to my room." As Kendo and Izuku went to Izuku's room, Izuku had he had an Xbox and a PlayStation. Nothing really special about that. He likes to play on it. He has a lot of training equipment, posters, not that many, but still a few. So, can you leave now, please? Nope. Let's play a game like Uno or something. As Izuku said, fine, let's play Uno. As Izuku and Kendo won pretty much each round, it went 50-50 both ways. So as it became late at night and Kendo had to go home, as she kissed Izuku on the cheek, Izuku blushed a little bit, but barely noticeable, and as Kendo went home. Let's time skip to about 10 months training. Izuku cleaned Degamo Beach. He can control 8% without pushing himself, which means he could just hold 15% of one for all. Oh, and also I don't really like how, is when Izuku uses full cowling, the lightning sparks appear. So it's just gonna look like how Gohan looks when he goes into his ultimate form, except it is a greenish blackish aura around him. So yeah, that's all I really wanted to add or say. So Izuku already knows what his hero costume is going to be. As Izuku walked into the UA auditorium and sat down. And also Izuku's pretty smart. Average wise. He's not dumb. He's not the smartest. He is smart. Smarter than everybody else, but not the smartest. But yeah. Oh, and Kendo's still going to be in Class 1B though. So as Izuku got done with the written proportion of the exam, now he is going on to the practical. As Izuku takes off his shirt because he doesn't really like to wear a shirt. As Izuku took off his shirt and all the girls start to blush and look at him like a piece of candy, but Izuku just rolled his eyes and ignored them, I guess. And then as he summoned his katana... Oh, by the way, this is what the katana looks like, if you guys were wondering. And this is what Izuku's katana looks like. Nothing really special. I don't know really what to say, except, hey, this is his weapon that he's going to be using, that he's an expert at using. And I gotta go back. Hold on a second. And we are back. As Izuku summoned his katana, yada yada yada, and then as President Mike said go, Izuku slashed the doors open while using 8% of one for all. He was using full cowling, by the way. Oh, and also he can use one for all. He can mix one for all with his sword, basically making a wind slash or a power slash, basically. If he channels one for all and a sword, make a power slash. Yeah, the basics. Super speed, strength, stamina, all the basics. As Izuku used 8% one for all full cowling and started to easily blaze through the exam. As he was thinking of All Might and how proud he would be. And yes, he's still limiting himself with one for all since he still thinks he's not worthy of the power because he feels like this is technically cheating or not, or because of his background on how he wasn't able to save everyone he loves or holds dear. But the one for all users think to themselves that he is the most worthiest person ever to wield one for all, standing there next to All Might. And by this time, Izuku has gathered 1,000 points in the entrance exam, as everybody was shocked and in awe on how Izuku has grown this much to a little boy who could even control his quirk to gathering up 1,000 points with All Might's quirk. As they start to shed a tear a little bit to think that Izuku has grown so far without All Might by his side. And then as Nezu's thought about releasing the 0-pointer, and he did. As Nezu opened up the 0-pointer, but since he wanted to push Izuku past his limits, he decided to unleash 3 0-pointers, as hoping that other people might join in and help, but that didn't go so well. Uraraka and a couple of other people got trapped under some rubble, so Izuku had to use about 10% of one for all, and he got faster and stronger, but he was still not it was still not enough to damage the zero pointers. So Izuku used 11% one for all in his legs and jumped up as high as he could. And he slashed, as he started to channel 100% of one for all into the sword or his katana, and it started to grow longer and longer and longer, but still skinny as a katana is. And as he just, slashed all three of the zero pointers' heads, and poof, big explosions. Basically, he channeled one for all and extended it all throughout the katana, basically kind of like vocaling, but it's different. So his sword is able to extend through the sheer amount of power that one for all is using. Izuku has gotten, let's say, a lot of uses for the sword. He can use it as a whip. Um, he can use it as a shield. He can use it as a what you call it. He can use it as anything. If he thinks of it, it can do. That's how much One for All has extended the uses of one single sword, which had no other abilities. So yeah, as Izuku aced the practical and physical part of the exam, as he went home along with Kendo, because she wanted to be at UA as well. As Izuku and Kendo started to walk home, and Izuku took her home, uh, and then he went home and went to sleep. Let's time skip to about 2 weeks. Izuku got first place and top 10. Well, he got the first place in the physical. He got, let's say, about fifth place in the testing proportion of the exam. Now, let's time skip to when UA first starts. Well, UA high school first starts. As Izuku was kind of excited but didn't show because he didn't want it to look weak. So as he walked in, and then as he saw Bakugo, as he just stood there, frozen, didn't say anything. And as Bakugo saw him and noticed his green hair and dark green eyes, he immediately stood up, walked towards Izuku with explosions ready, and Izuku unconsciously summoned his katana. They were getting ready to fight right there in the middle of the classroom, but luckily, Aizawa stepped in, stopped both of them. Listen here. I know you're past with Izuku, and Izuku, I know you're past with him. But you will not fight. Even though you are my son, the rules don't disqualify you because of that. Now, sit down, both of you, before I expel both of you on the spot. As Izuku looked at Bakugo, clenched his fist to the point where it started bleeding and sat down. Izuku didn't pay attention to to his hand bleeding, so he just ignored it. Let's go to the practical test that Aizawa gives them. Yada yada yada, back and forth, as it was Izuku's turn to throw the ball. As he channeled 15% of One for All in Izuku's arms, spine, and leg, threw it, got about 1,000 miles. As everybody was shocked and amazed on how Izuku's power, on his speed, strength, upper body strength, lower body strength, like everything, they were just amazed. But Bakugo on the other hand, was livid. As he charged towards Izuku, Aizawa wasn't fast enough because because Katsuki Bakugo has grown stronger. He's about Maga. Well, when he's about season 5 levels of strong, so yeah, he's pretty strong. As he blasted towards Izuku and said, "Die, you Deku!" and sent an explosion towards Izuku, but Izuku is easily able to throw Bakugo's explosion right back towards him by using Bakugo's momentum and karate chopping his arm and making his hand turn towards his face, and boom, explosion popped right back in his face. As Izuku summoned his katana, purposely grazed Bakugo's cheek and kicked Bakugo in his chest, sending him flying towards the wall, crashing into the wall. And as Izuku rushed towards Bakugo with the speed of light, with the sword right on his nose, and I mean right, his nose was practically bleeding because Izuku's sword was on his nose. If you ever come near me again, Aizawa, Endeavor, nobody will be able to stop my wrath from killing you where you stand. Kachan. As Izuku said that with venom in his voice, with anger, sadness, hate, every negative emotion you can think of, Izuku had. Wait, hold on a second, guys. Sorry about that. Let's get back into this. And as Bakugo didn't really know how to feel, he was training so hard because All Might died, and he felt that too. Izuku just didn't feel that. Bakugo felt that. All of Class 1A, B, C, everybody felt All Might's death. So Bakugo decided to train harder because he knew that other people were trying to take the #1 spot. So as Bakugo felt rage beyond rage, that he trained so hard and it only took a few hits to defeat him by a person who couldn't even summon his quirk. But Bakugo kept quiet because Izuku wasn't playing around, and Bakugo knew that. And as Bakugo just looked down, clenching his fist, and as Izuku summoned his katana, and then walked away. Bakugo didn't really do anything because he knew that Izuku had fast reflexes to dodge that powerful of an explosion. But Bakugo will be ready, and so would Izuku. Let's time skip to about when, because there are a lot of changes here. Endeavor decided to be a good father, so, Dabi's still alive. Well, Dabi's not a villain, but he does work. He does do a part-time job. He doesn't really like heroes. Well, he does like heroes. He just didn't want to be one, and NG totally respected that. AKA, NG is AKA Endeavor. Endeavor respected that, so, but, Dabi does know how to use his quirk effectively, but he just didn't want to hurt people like that. Also, Shoto is still very, very livid about what he did to his family, so Shoto's still pretty mad at Endeavor. But Endeavor is trying his best to fix everything that has happened. Yeah. And also, what's his name? Shoto's brother, not Dabi, but his other brother. I don't know his name. But yeah, his other brother is still livid about that too, so they both are still angry at NG. So as the hero versus villain test is about to begin, as Izuku was teamed up, well, everybody's team is as in canon. And also, I have to go soon. I have to be somewhere, but I'm gonna try to make this as quick as I possibly can. Oh, and also, this is Izuku's hero costume. This costume contains heat resistance, ice resistance, bullet resistance, slash resistance. It could take All Might's punches 15 times without breaking or being damaged. So yeah, Izuku, yeah, he's pretty stacked. Well, the suit is pretty stacked. And also, he kind of digs the samurai way of dressing because, he has a katana. So as everybody was looking at Izuku like, man, this man look good. He look clean. Sheesh. But let's get back into this video. As Izuku walked out, and as everybody was looking at it all out, how he was so slim but yet so powerful at the same time, they were just shocked. But as I said before, all of the original teams stayed the same, so let's go to Izuku versus Bakugo fight. as Bakugo launched towards Izuku using almost full power explosions, but he didn't really want to damage the building or make it collapse. As Izuku was easily dodging or slashing through the attacks with only using 5% of one for counting. As Bakugo was so mad, he was like, "Oh, Deku, fight me like your full power! Are you looking down on me?" And as Izuku said, "Yes, I'm doing exactly that. If I used my full power, both you and me will be disqualified out of this match, and I don't want our little training session to be over that easily." As Bakugo was so livid that he was called a training partner, especially to Deku. So as he was using about, let's say, 8% explode, no, I'm about, let's say, 70% explosions, which equals out to 70% of one for all. That's pretty strong. So as Bakugo was using everything he had, but Izuku just kept on dodging, weaving, and also getting a couple of jabs in at Bakugo. You know, getting the reason why Izuku was weaving and not attacking is because he was looking for Bakugo's weak spots. When he found those, he exploited those weak spots and started to jab at his ribs, arms, and basically neck. So those are Bakugo's weak spots. And his arms. Can't forget his arms. And Izuku was waiting for Bakugo to tire himself out. Because, that explosions can really hurt you, especially in Bakugo's case. And as Bakugo started to smirk at Izuku and said, "These gauntlets are just for show." Click. As the gauntlets were fully drenched in sweat, or as the gauntlet was ready to fire, as Bakugo didn't hold anything back, and as Izuku knows what Bakugo is going to do, summoned his katana, made it into a shield, and blocked Bakugo's blast, while also containing the blast somewhat. But there was still a giant crater where Izuku stood. Well, he was still standing there, but you know what I mean. As Izuku was just standing there smirking, and then as he said, "It's time for me to attack." As he used 15% of one for all and started just to slash Bakugo everywhere. Arms, legs, cheek, neck, chest, and I mean everywhere. And then he looked like he was teleporting, and then as Izuku stopped, Bakugo fell on his knees. And then as Izuku walked up towards Bakugo and whispered in his ear, "You are weak," and he slammed Bakugo's head into his knee, knocking Bakugo out unconscious. As Izuku rushed towards Uraraka, but Uraraka was unfortunately captured and knocked out. At that time, Bakugo and Izuku were fighting. So it was up to Izuku to defeat Ida. As Ida was nowhere near Izuku's speed or reaction time, Ida was very easily knocked out, and Hero Teams win. And that's why I'm going to be leaving it off, guys. Sorry, this is a short episode. Oh, wait, no, it's not. It's 23 minutes. But thank you guys so much for liking, subscribe, turn on that notification so you know when I'm going to be posting my next video. I will see you guys later. Love you all, and peace.